Welcome back to BST.
Your father-son sports podcast where he does all the work and I just show up.
Yep, we're the Brackens. To get this show started,
that's about all you need to know. We only have 10 subscribers.
Yeah, it could be more if you guys want to subscribe, please.
Maybe 10.
Yeah. So
what was the average play time?
Did like 30 seconds, I think, or so. So we can improve
bump that up to about a minute and a half.
Yeah, come on. I mean, that's not too much of an ask, is it? Come on.
The takes are free.
Yeah.
They're worth less than that. So
I mean, maybe.
Well.
Hey, we'll see what happens.
First of all, though, the new look.
Okay, yeah.
Developed. So it's a little bit different look every week, I think, so far.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing to point out is the Ovechkin tracker.
Mm-hmm. Right up there.
Alex Ovechkin scored 2 goals, like 3 days ago?
Yeah, something like that.
3 days. What has he got? 10 on the season?
10 on the season already.
10 on the season. 32 away from breaking Gretzky's record.
Yeah.
And for you folks that don't know what hockey is, it is more than just soccer on ice. Mm-hmm. It's a lot better.
It's way more fun to watch, honestly.
Way more fun to watch. Check him out, Alex Ovechkin. They blitzed St. Louis 8-1.
Oh, wow. The Capitals are surprisingly good this year. I did not think they would be as good as they have been so far.
Yeah, and really, to break Gretzky's goal record, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. And we're almost there. So we're going to keep this goal tracker updated through our episodes until he finally breaks it, which maybe this season may not be. We'll cover all that. But to get this show started, obviously we had a great week of NFL football action. It started on Thursday night. Baltimore won a thriller over Cincinnati 35-34. Just some instant thoughts on it. I thought that, Jamar Chase couldn't have played, and Joe Burrow could not have played any better to lose a game. I think Jamar Chase had 55 points in fantasy football. I think you faced him in fantasy. That was a tough one, wasn't it?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, but I think I heard Shannon Sharp say something like about the MVP conversation. Lamar is in the room, and he's the only one in the room, and he's locked the door. He is running away with the MVP at this point. He single-handedly brought them back in that game. What did you think?
I find it funny. I actually agree with Nick Wright a little bit. If you switched places with the Chiefs and Mahomes, if Mahomes did exactly what Lamar did in that game, we would be saying how crappy they are, and how they struggle. But when Lamar does it, he brings them back, and he's wonderful. He's great. He's the MVP. So
I agree.
It's interesting. Lamar's. Yeah, he's a talent. We'll see what he does in the playoffs, though. He's never done anything in the playoffs.
No, it's a tough loss for Cincinnati, though. I don't think their season is over, but you needed to pull this one out. And it's really hard to lose a game like that where you do almost everything right and you still cannot win it because of your defense. But yeah, moving on, the Germany game, 7:30 here in Boise. It was a sloppy football game. I didn't get to watch it. I was listening to it at work, and it was really hard to watch at times because both teams just suck on offense. They have their moments on defense, but eventually Carolina gets the win 20-17 after the Giants fumble in overtime, and then the Panthers kick the game winner. You watched the game. What did you think?
I'm a little embarrassed that I watched the game, probably. Not good. It seems like a couple coaches have lost their jobs coming back from overseas. Dable doesn't deserve to lose his job.
No, I don't think so either.
So a little nervous that maybe they would get a knee-jerk reaction and, fire him, but, they took the way of the Bears and decided to keep him. So
yeah, but Dable is no Eberflus.
Oh yeah, Dable's a lot.
He's a good coach.
So Dable deserves at least one season without Daniel Jones. So we'll see.
Hopefully for the fans, they get rid of Daniel Jones because I will tell you he is horrible. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. He is a horrible quarterback. He needs to be kicked off the team at this point. There was a flea flicker in that game that he had two guys wide open, and he got sacked on third down, 3rd and 1. And
He's
it's like
ghosts at this point.
yeah, the guy cannot make good decisions, and he can't make decisions at all. He looks lost at times, and like I don't mind Daniel Jones. I think he can be good in a certain system, but this is just not working. And I mean, like we went to that Giants game. The fans are not happy right now. It is not. They are not happy.
They're New Yorkers. They're never happy.
But I mean, if you think about the Giants, like they have some players. They have some guys. They got Sexy Dexy. He's probably the best defensive tackle, maybe other than Chris Jones in the league. They got 2 good pass rushers other than him in Burns and Thibodeau. I mean, you know that Neighbors is a good player already. It seems like the running back they just drafted, Tracy, he's good. And, I mean, their offensive line still sucks, but, I mean, one draft can kind of change that if you hit on your picks, but that's going to be the question. Can they hit on their picks? But, yeah, it's just kind of a disappointing year for the Giants disappointing 2 years after that. A really good season in the first year under Dayball. But, yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, probably too much time on that.
New England beats Chicago 19-3. It was more ugly than the Germany game, to be honest. Again, I didn't watch barely any of these games, but I mean, if you're a Bears fan, because of course as Packers fans we are very, very, very pleased with these results, but if you're a Bears fan, it is really concerning how much Caleb has regressed in these past, 4 weeks or so after playing pretty well. Because he is he can't do anything right now. It is really bad. So, now as of when you guys are watching this, Shayton Waldron will have been fired. So that's good for them. I don't know how much is going to change, but it was obvious that if you cannot scheme up good offensive play calling with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Romo Dunze, then what are you doing? You are completely incompetent as an offensive coordinator. What did you think?
I have no opinion on this game. Packers play the Bears next, so I'm going to reserve my comments for after that. Let's get through that.
Yeah, let's hopefully the Packers win that game.
I don't want to bash Chicago and then have it bite me in the ass. So.
I'm not necessarily bashing him. I'm just saying, if you can't develop Caleb, this is going to be a problem.
But, it's half a season.
I know,
they
but
should have fired Eberflus last year.
And Caleb isn't completely not at fault either. I mean, I think the biggest thing with him is he just holds on to the ball way too long. He cannot play within structure.
The problem is
right
he's
now.
doing what he did at USC.
Yeah.
He can get away with it in college. He can't get away with that in the pros.
No.
So he's going to have to change how he plays, and I don't know. Maybe,
it's going to be really tough.
Maybe, yeah, they keep calling him a generational talent. I don't know. I mean, I don't see that big of a gap between him and Justin Fields. I really don't.
They play pretty. I mean, I think I saw the stat, and it's Caleb Williams on throws over 20 yards or so. It's he is at 23% completion percentage. So it's he cannot throw the ball deep at all. It is really bad.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is he's not taking his checkdowns. So it's a really bad combination of just pretty poor football right now from the Bears. But I mean, I'm not complaining. But hopefully they continue to suck with Eberflus still at the helm, which I'm shocked he was not fired, to be honest. I thought for sure they would fire him because I feel like you're just doing a disservice to the fans at this point to not fire him. Yeah. So we'll see if they can do anything against the Packers. Hopefully the Packers just go into Chicago and boat race them. But who knows, honestly. Anything can happen. It's a week-to-week league. Moving on, Buffalo beats Indianapolis 30-20. We'll keep this one brief, kind of just a whatever game. Yeah. I mean, Josh Allen and the Bills continue rolling. Yeah. This really sets up their game next week against Kansas City. So we'll have more to say about that game next week. Kansas City, they have got to have done a deal with the devil at this point. Black magic, whatever you want to call it. It is unbelievable at this point. They win 16-14 on a blocked field goal. I was at work listening. If you want to go check out Brandon Perna on YouTube, that's good sports. I was listening to his stream. He's a Broncos fan. He was very excited to finally beat the Chiefs, and then the kick is blocked.
I'll have to check that one out. I haven't heard his
I
reaction.
mean, it's just like they cannot keep getting away with this.
Great
like
teams
how?
make great plays.
I mean, that's the other thing. Like I can't like get mad at them because it's like that was a really good play. They called the perfect block there. They overwhelmed the side they wanted to block it from, and
Denver did a bad job.
No, 100%. That was a complete lapse by the Denver special teams unit. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
You got bowled over, and they just easily block it. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it.
No, my team never does it.
So. I've never seen a block come that easily. Like, there were like legitimately 5 or 6 Chiefs in the backfield to block that kick.
Well, it's another Mahomes thing. I mean, you think back to that playoff game against the Bills. You think it's the first, you're witnessing Mahomes lose. 12 seconds left. He gets him into field goal range.
Yeah.
And it's just, as they're lining up for that kick, I thought, wonder if they can block it. And they did. So
it's just
any team that needs to manifest something, it'll be the Chiefs. So.
It is just...
It used to feel like it was the Patriots. Now...
Well, now it's the same
Chiefs.
thing. And then that really scares me because it's at a point, it's like, how does this team lose? They've played their worst football, and they still come out on top. And it's just like, what are we get? Like, who's going to knock these guys off? So hopefully, it's Josh Allen and the Bills next Sunday. That would be wonderful. But, yeah moving on. New Orleans over Atlanta. What are you doing? What are you doing, Atlanta? How are you losing to this team? But I will say, cool story for the new Saints head coach. I think his name's like Darren Rizzi or something.
Is he interim coach? Or
yeah.
Did they name him head coach?
Interim.
Okay.
But he seems like a good players coach, but kind of the same story as every interim coach. Yeah. All the players like him. They usually play hard and win some games. So we'll see there. But Atlanta, come on. You had clear control of this division, and you throw it away. But another concern for Atlanta is their pass rush is horrid. Like, they need to get legitimate pressure if they want any chance, even to win the division at this point. Because I think the Buccaneers could, but right now, we'll get to what happened in the Buccaneers game. But, in fact, that's next up. San Francisco beats Buccaneers 23-20. I've heard some people say this, but, like, San Francisco special teams is really bad. I mean, they how many kicks they miss? Do you know? Like 4?
Yeah, they missed a few.
But their special teams lapses kept this game pretty close. But you just gotta admire like Baker's fight, like that stiff arm play he had against Bosa. I mean that was one of the more incredible plays I've ever seen.
Yeah, Baker is playing really well this year. I think he just has a lot of those gamer qualities.
Yeah,
just
like Favre.
Just a big time gamer. Everything that Aaron Rodgers lacks, Baker Mayfield has right now.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
So, I mean, not saying that Rodgers never had it, but he lacks it now. So,
yeah, but I mean, this special teams might come to bite San Francisco. Obviously, they hit the kick at the end, but also Debo punching his own line snapper or like kind of smacking him a little bit in the face really rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, are you serious, Debo? This is a team game.
San Francisco's window is very, very narrow.
Yeah,
narrowly open. They're not gonna win the Super Bowl. I think honestly, it's probably close with this group. They're older. McCaffrey can't stay healthy. It's kind of you got Debo's aging, Kittle's aging. They've proven they can't beat Kansas City, and that's probably who's going there. Who knows what they would do against Baltimore, but Kansas City there is an absolute bad matchup for them. So
I agree.
I think the window's kind of closed on San Francisco. But.
Yeah, especially, this is probably the very end of that window. Because, next year, you're probably, in this offseason, you're probably going to have to pay Purdy. So they're going to have to, get it together pretty fast and get in the playoffs. They have talent, so if they get in, they're going to have a chance. But it's going to be very tough for them. Next up, Pittsburgh beats Washington 28-27. Mike Tomlin was very criticized for starting Russell Wilson, but now he looks like a genius. Russell Wilson playing really good right now.
A good move. I think it's funny. Mike Williams made that great touchdown catch and scored as many points as the Jets did. So, not to jump ahead, but
my dad's feud with the Jets continues.
Yeah, it's more a feud with Rodgers.
Oh
probably.
Yeah, he used to love Rodgers.
Well, I don't know if I ever loved Rodgers.
Oh, really?
Oh, I loved Favre.
Oh,
but Rodgers I came to like, and then it took me a while, but now, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, last year I was intrigued. I was like, okay, this hyped up pretty well. Let's see what happens, and then he pops his Achilles, and it's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, great. And so then it's like, okay, this year coming in, I thought, okay, and just not what they wanted.
No.
But they've been in most games.
They have,
and a couple bounces, it could be a different story. I don't think they. I don't know. Rodgers isn't the guy to carry a team there.
No.
This late in his career, or arguably ever. He rode that defense the year he won. He didn't play particularly well in a few of those playoff games, but they managed to win. But Super Bowl champ, great thrower of the football, just not a great leader.
Yeah,
and it's showing. So.
But I have seen people say, connecting this back to the Steelers, that, obviously the Jets team is not built to win right now. I don't
necessarily.
I know, but say what you want, their defense is not good right now. So, but I've seen people say, Russell Wilson went to the Broncos super hyped to do something there, didn't do anything. Goes to the Steelers, who are very stable organization, and could that be something that Rodgers looks for this offseason?
No, he's looking for some kind of a dark place or
darkest
some
retreat,
random Egyptian something. I don't know. He's gonna be off doing something else, still showing up on McAfee every once in a while, maybe every Tuesday still, who knows. But the common denominator between all of what you just mentioned is Nathaniel Hackett. So, Russell Wilson goes to Denver under Nathaniel Hackett. It's a dumpster fire. They get rid of Hackett. They bring in Sean Payton. Sean Payton doesn't like Russ. So hard to succeed when your coach hates you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a big Russell Wilson fan. I hated him in Seattle.
Yeah, me too.
But he gets his opportunity with one of the best coaches that you could play for in Mike Tomlin. And, I think Russ is still that same cheesy guy that he showed in Denver.
Yeah.
And I think Pittsburgh kind of embraces that a little bit more. Seems like his teammates like him.
That's always been a thing, though. His teammates like him.
They didn't really like him in Denver, though, it seemed like.
Yeah, but winning cures all.
Yeah, that's probably true.
If you're losing, it's hard to like people.
Yeah. He's playing really well. It'll be interesting to see. They're the team nobody's really talking about.
The
Chiefs play them later on. So
and for Washington this game, obviously it sucks to lose, but
they were down players too. They didn't have Robinson. They didn't have. I think they were missing their new acquisition on the with what's his name? Lattimore didn't play. So if they were full, they almost won.
They battled them.
And there's a bad call late in the game. That was the first down, I feel like.
I agree.
They need to figure out how to work that where you can break the plane of the goal line and it just kills it, but you come forward and break the line, but your momentum takes you, and it's, I don't know. It's, yeah, the spots are tough. It's tough for those line judges to get up there and really see where a guy was. But I felt like replay assist, I expected them to at least spot the ball and measure. And it seemed like they were a yard off in their spot from where the replay showed. So who knows? They maybe don't get it even if you do that, but it would have been nice to at least see that works. You know? But who knows? They still were at the edge of field goal. I don't know if they were at field goal range yet. They were pretty close. They were getting close, but it's unfortunate. But no, great game by the Steelers.
Yeah, but moving on. Jacksonville could have done the Packers a big favor. Minnesota didn't look good at all. But, I mean, you're facing Mac Jones, so you better win the game. If you're facing Mac Jones, if you lose to Mac Jones, like if the Vikings lost this game, like, what an embarrassing loss. But they end up winning, barely. But, I mean, Darnold played horrible.
Jets, Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah, I know he looked more like that this game than Vikings, but I think maybe Darnold might be a little bit of a concern for the Vikings going in later in the season. I don't know. I don't know if you would ask a Vikings fan how confident they are in him.
You should ask your friend.
Yeah. Hey, next episode I'll have that answer for you guys. Whether my Vikings friend is actually confident in him. But yeah, ugly game. Jacksonville could have done the Packers a big favor. They didn't. Vikings win 12-7. Chargers over Titans 27-17.
Didn't watch much of this game.
No, me neither. But I think what Harbaugh is doing in LA is pretty remarkable. He took the worst defense last year statistically and has turned them into the best defense this year statistically. And, I mean, that is just outstanding. I mean, I'm not really shocked, though, because, I mean, this is what's happened everywhere he's gone. It's honestly amazing that he didn't stay in the NFL. Like, I mean, if you look at his coaching career, every team he has head coach for has improved and been better and become really good teams when he's coached them. But, again, kind of a boring game. But I think the Chargers are not a bad team. They could sneak into the playoffs as a wild card because they are. I mean, unless the Chiefs collapse, they have no chance winning that division. But Philadelphia over Dallas. The Dallas train wreck continues.
It's not even fun to talk about because Dak's not in. So
it's just like, I mean, I don't even know where you go from here. Because you're going to have a high pick now because they can't win with Cooper Rush. But it's like you can't pick a quarterback because you just paid Dak $60 million. So it's like, it's just a horrible, horrible situation for Cowboys fans. I think you have to do the Carolina move or the Bears move, right? Trade away your pick. I mean, that's kind of the only...
Give you a bunch of picks for them.
I mean, it's going to happen. There's going to be a team out there who's super quarterback hungry and be like, yeah, we'll just give you all these picks for them.
Yeah.
Probably like the Raiders or somebody, if they are too high up.
Hard to know what to think of this game with how bad Cowboys are. So
I mean, Philly's starting to heat up a little bit, but again, it's the Cowboys. I mean, their players can't see because of the sun. Like, can Jerry Jones do something right ever? I mean, almost any decision he has made is just hurting the team at this point. And it's not like it's a GM that you can fire. I mean, he is the lead dog there. You can't do anything to stop him. And no matter how much he may say he's trying to help the Cowboys, it seems a lot more like he's trying to tear them down.
Yeah,
and he just cares because he still gets the money. That's it, and it doesn't matter. So it's a train wreck, and I don't know where they go from here. Moving on, I'll let you talk about this. Arizona beats the Jets 31-6. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, I picked the Jets, stupidly.
Really?
Well, gotta get on the hype train. Rodgers drinking his pepper water and, fountain of youth and mobility and all that. And the weapons that they have, it's just, the streak, what is it, 32 games since he threw for 300 yards.
I know, it's insane at this point.
It's like, how do you have Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Lazard when he's healthy, and a bunch of others, right? I'm sure I can't even think of who they have now. I was going to say Mike Williams, but he's gone. But you had him. You have the weapons. You got everything you wanted, and it's bad.
It's horrible.
Breece Hall, it's just there truly could be a curse of the Jets. Now, I will say, my brother is a Jets fan. I'm not sure if he's one of our 10 subscribers.
He may be.
I don't think he is.
Wow.
I know. But maybe one of our 10 subscribers knows him. Probably so, because I think all of our 10 subscribers
are all family.
Friends,
yeah,
so,
probably.
One of you knows him. And maybe you can put some pressure on him because he is the key
to the
Jets winning. Because when he watches a full game, they win.
Yep, it's true.
Now, not every win. He didn't watch every win, but when he watches, they win.
Mm.
And so that's your only hope, Jets fans.
Yep. If he watches, you guys may go on a run. But
yeah, he's got to watch.
As long as he doesn't.
But no. It's weird. It's the true textbook case of leadership and teamwork and culture, and I think it could be used as a model for any workforce out there that wants to demonstrate how important culture is in everything. Just look at the 2024 New York Jets, and that will be the example of what not to do in the workplace. You fired your best coach, who probably would have been fired anyway, probably, wasn't cut out for head coaching this team. I will say you see a lot of coaches fail in some spots, succeed in the others. So Saleh probably gets another job and can probably do it, but it's a bit of a curse. I think every year the coaching vacancies that need to be filled, a lot of those jobs are not desirable locations.
Nope.
I mean, and there's a reason. If they were desirable, the team would be good, right?
Mm.
And there's a reason the coach is missing. They're not good.
Yeah.
There's not a good team, so it's tough to overhaul. Hats off to Dan Campbell for doing it in Detroit, because that was a revolving door of coaches for years, and it looks like he actually went in and turned things around. And Jacksonville had that a little bit with a few coaches over the years, but it doesn't seem to last very long.
It does not.
Those really good jobs don't come open often.
Nope.
And so, Saleh will get another shot, and I think he deserves. I mean, shoot, if Mike McCarthy gets another coaching job after what he did with Green Bay, with the success and longevity, but I felt like when he left, he was done.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys, hired him, and to his credit, they had 3 straight 12-5 seasons. But yeah, I don't know. The Jets are. It's just underachieving.
It's bad.
It's just underachieving. And Arizona's heating up, and they're good.
They torched their defense. Just torched them.
They're a good team, and that was part of the problem as well. But, the Jets moved the ball. They just couldn't do anything with it. And, it's a little sad because, Rodgers should be able to do it, but it's just that father time just caught up.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know. It's sad to see as a Packers fan, but, I think it's just time to just retire. I know you may want to play more, try and win another, but it's just not. I don't think it's.
It doesn't look like he enjoys football.
No,
really.
No,
so,
he doesn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, if
That's
they were
okay.
winning, he would.
No, and he's had a good career. So it's
Nobody would blame him for just going and retiring.
Absolutely.
But yeah, moving on. Sunday Night Football. This game was crazy to watch. It was just like in the first half, especially, it was just turnover after turnover after turnover. Jared Goff finishes with 5 interceptions, and they still win the game. And I know I was more optimistic than you were throughout this game, saying Houston will still win it. You said the entire time, nope, Houston's not going to win this thing. Detroit's going to come back, and you were right. Detroit defeats Houston 26-23. It's just like, it's kind of the same energy as the Chiefs right now. It's like, what do you have to do to beat them right now? Like, you still get 5 picks on them, and you still can't beat them? It's like, are you serious? So, it scares me as a Packers fan.
Well, we play them one more time in a few weeks. Hopefully we can just be more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
They're a beatable team. I think if Nico Collins was playing, I think Houston might have been able to connect on a few more throws. Houston played well in the first half. It was just tale of two halves. Detroit capitalized when they forced turnovers, and Texans didn't. And you have to capitalize when you turn a team over. So
they did not. And I know a lot of Texans fans are like just clamoring for their OC to be fired, which is crazy because last year it was like, this guy's a genius. But I think I think Stroud is a good quarterback, and he's just like, he just has nobody to throw to.
It's a better line too.
Yeah, and his line sucks. But also, Detroit didn't really get that great of pressure on him. I mean, I didn't think it was that great. So that could be a problem for him. But they didn't have Zadarius Smith in that game, so I don't know. I still think Detroit is the favorite in the NFC, and maybe to win it all, in my opinion. But kind of a frustrating game for both sides. But Detroit ends up winning it. I mean, both of those kicks, the one to tie it and the one to win it, I mean, like a centimeter to the left and to the right, respectively. I mean, you're looking at a completely different game. I mean, It was really close, but Detroit gets the win, moves to, what are they, 8-1 now?
Yep.
Moving on, I forgot to change the score on here, so it says 0-0, but the Rams win 20.
Miami won.
Miami. See, look at me. I tried to predict it there, and I got it completely wrong. Miami wins 23-15. Kind of disappointing game for the Rams and Stafford, because I felt like they were on a heater. They just beat the Vikings and the Seahawks. I'm like, okay, they're gonna make another run like last year, and then it just all came crashing down this game.
Yeah, they did not show up. Yeah,
just like the offense looked flat. They couldn't run the ball. Like everything they did right, in like especially the Vikings game, they just didn't have an answer for. Miami looked dominant on offense, even though they only scored 23 points. They were moving the ball consistently.
Yeah, so, it never felt close.
No, yeah, and it was just like, really, guys? Like, come on. But for Miami, I mean, their division sucks. So, besides the Bills, they could feasibly make it back into this thing. But they're going to have to pretty much play perfect. That's what happens when you put yourself in a hole like this. You kind of just have to play perfect if you want a chance to make it back in the race. But
yeah,
I think they can. But, with all their weapons back and Tua back, they just look like a completely different team. So we'll see where all that goes. But a good week of football, some pretty close games in the early window on Sunday. Kind of later, kind of sucked. Sunday night was good. But, we'll see what happens in Week 11. Moving on to our Week 11 NFL Power Rankings. Starting at number 1, you got the Detroit Lions. I think even though they did not play their best game, they still showed they can win. And if you look at like their resume as a whole this season, I feel like it's probably the best out of anyone. I just feel like they've dominated bad teams, and they've won. They beat the Vikings, they beat the Packers, so it's kind of like they're clearly the number one in the NFC. I feel like they're the best team in the league, but we'll see how that shakes out. Number 2, the Ravens. I know this may be controversial that they jumped the Chiefs, but I don't know. With Lamar playing as good as he is, and with Derrick Henry, it's just like, man, I don't know. I think right now the Ravens probably beat the Chiefs with how they're playing right now. Even though I already played this year, the Chiefs won. I think right now the Ravens probably beat the Chiefs. But
I was gonna say the Ravens have the 6th toughest schedule left. Remaining schedule left.
Yeah, they got to play that division.
Well, they play Steelers twice and the Browns once.
So that's going to be tough.
And they play the Eagles and the Texans. So just going back to the Lions. Lions are 10th toughest schedule remaining. They play the Packers, the Bills, the 49ers, and the Vikings. But they also play the Bears twice and the Jaguars next week and the Colts. So interesting there. Chiefs, if we look at the Chiefs, Chiefs have the 14th toughest schedule left.
Okay, so they're going 17-0. We can already put that in.
Well, their toughest games will be against the Bills.
Yeah.
And the Steelers and the Texans.
But if
play those 3.
If the Bills beat them in the regular season, it means they automatically lose in the postseason.
Well, and they do have to go to Denver.
Yeah, true. Denver did play him tough. I don't think Denver is anything to scoff at. They're pretty good. But yeah, Chiefs at 3. The Chiefs could theoretically be 2 or 1, but I feel like both the 1 and the 2 team are better. Bills at 4. I think they've kind of just quietly had a really good season. Like nothing crazy. They haven't really played any I don't even think they've played any crazy good teams as of yet.
They have the 11th toughest schedule.
Okay, so yeah.
So they play the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Niners are still on their schedule. So,
okay.
But you got 2 against New England, 1 against the Jets, and then the Rams. That could be tough. The Rams, you never know. Bills will, down the stretch, we'll see what the Bills do.
Mm-hmm. Number 5, the Eagles. Again, another team that's kind of just like, they've kind of just had like a sneaky good season. Even early on when there were struggles, like since then, they've kind of just kept Hurts in like a little bubble, so to speak. And like they're not allowing him to do too much or too little. And it's really working for them. And they've stacked a few wins.
13th toughest strength of schedule remaining. Their key tough games will be twice against the Commanders. Yep. Next week they play the first. The Ravens and the Steelers are on their schedule. So
that's gonna be tough.
Yeah. Otherwise, you still have the Giants and the Cowboys left.
There you go.
You got the Panthers and the Rams. So you
never know.
Still, I mean, there's really only 3 of those that should just be automatic wins.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, moving on. Steelers at 6. They look like a completely different team with Russell Wilson.
But they have the 7th toughest schedule.
Oh, really?
Well, 7th toughest remaining schedule. Kansas City, Philadelphia, Baltimore twice, Cleveland twice, Bengals twice.
Man.
They have their whole division ahead of them.
That's a tough schedule. So we'll kind of see what they're made of here. But they picked up a big win against the Commanders. So that brings us to the Commanders at 7. I didn't want to drop them too much just because it's like you lost to a good team. It was a close game. So I mean they're still a good team. So I think Commanders at 7 is a good spot.
24th.
Oh wow.
Toughest schedule. Their toughest games will be twice against the Eagles, once against the Falcons.
Okay.
And then they have Tennessee, New Orleans, and the Cowboys twice.
So this is a playoff team pretty much. Mm-hmm. I mean, they got a good record. with that schedule, they should easily coast into the playoffs, but we'll see how that goes. At 8, the Vikings.
Yep.
Ugly win, but I still feel like they've had a pretty good resume this year. So I thought number 8 would be perfect.
They have the 9th toughest schedule remaining. They play Lions, Packers, Falcons, and Cardinals left on their schedule. 2 against the Bears. They have Tennessee and Seattle. So
all right, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But if Sam Darnold keeps playing like he did last game, they might be in trouble. But 9 got the Packers. Before the bye week, they dropped one to the Lions. But you're losing to the best team in the league in my eyes. So I didn't want to drop them too far. I still feel like they're a top 10 team, but definitely have some work to do to get into the top 5.
They have the 12th toughest schedule remaining. Lions, Vikings, 49ers are their toughest on the list. They have 2 against the Bears, first one this weekend. Falcons, Dolphins, and Saints. So
we'll see how that goes. Those division games are going to be tough, but they gotta win them if they want to get in. So we'll see what they're made of. And then rounding out the list at number 10, you got the 49ers. Even though their record isn't great, they've dropped a few games this year. I feel like with McCaffrey back and healthy, they're a top 10 team in the league.
And out of our top 10 power rankings, they have the toughest schedule out of the 10. They're
really?
The fifth toughest schedule remaining. Lions, Bills, Packers, Cardinals. And then they have the Bears, the Rams, Seahawks, and the Dolphins.
Wow. All right. That's... Whew.
It's going to be tough.
Can they win them? Yes. Will they? I don't know. It's going to just be... they're just going to have to fire on all cylinders to beat them. And Brock Purdy is going to have to play really good. But, yeah, that's our Week 11 NFL Power Rankings. We'll see what happens, what shifts from next week. But
here's a interesting tidbit for your call earlier on Tampa Bay has the easiest schedule left.
Really?
Of all teams. They play the Chargers are listed as their toughest remaining team. They play the Giants, the Raiders, the Panthers twice, the Saints, and the Cowboys.
Okay.
So Tampa can make a run there.
What is Atlanta at?
Atlanta has the 23rd toughest. Their tough teams are Denver, the Commanders, the Vikings, and the Chargers.
That division is going to be pretty good coming down the stretch. If they can both stack up some wins, we'll see how that one shakes out.
Yep.
But we're going to introduce a new topic to the show, and it's the pick'em for Week 11. So we're going to go down the list. I'm going to start, and we'll just alternate down the list of who we think is going to win. In Washington at Philadelphia, the line is -3.5 for Philly. I think Washington plus 3.5 is the pick here. I think not only do I think Washington is going to win, if they lose, I think it's going to be very close. So I feel pretty safe picking that.
We got the Packers at Chicago -6.5
for the Packers.
I don't know. This feels like a field goal game.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Feels like a field goal game. I'd probably take Chicago in the points.
Really? And then next I got this is a big margin, but I think especially I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is going to play, but I think Detroit -13.5 versus Jacksonville. I like that pick just because Detroit has blown out bad teams this year, so I think they do it again. I don't know if they drop 55 like they did on the Titans, but I feel like they probably win by 2 touchdowns or more.
I got Miami against Vegas, -7.5. Vegas is coming off the bye. I'll take Vegas in the points.
Okay. I like the Rams -4.5 against New England. I think the Rams bounce back. I don't think New England is very great. I just think the Bears suck right now. I trust the Rams to win by a touchdown, probably ish. But I think it could be kind of a sneaky good game for a little bit, but I think the Rams win by a touchdown.
You've got New Orleans. What does that say?
Cleveland. Minus 1.5 versus Cleveland.
New Orleans is minus 1.5, favored over Cleveland.
Mm.
I think New Orleans going to ride that. I'll take New Orleans.
Yeah. I like Indianapolis plus 3.5 at the Jets. I'm honestly shocked the Jets are favored. I mean, I get it. Like, Indianapolis isn't very good either, but, like, nothing about the Jets makes me think they're going to win this game. So I like Indianapolis to not only win this game, but once again, I feel like I don't see the Jets winning by a touchdown. So I'll pick that.
Got Pittsburgh against Baltimore. Baltimore's favored 3.5. Boy, where's the game at? It's in Baltimore?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Oh, it's in Pittsburgh. Okay. Boy, that's a tough one. I think Pittsburgh wins. But gosh, would they win by more than a field goal? Keeping it close. I'll take Pittsburgh in that one.
Yeah. Minnesota minus 6.5 at Tennessee. This will be a get right game for Minnesota. I feel like bad game against Jacksonville, but I trust them to win by a touchdown again or more against Tennessee.
I don't know. I think Tennessee might
trip
them up.
Really?
Denver minus 1.5 versus Atlanta. Denver played well. They're at home. I'm going to take Denver. I agree with that. I think Atlanta struggles on the road.
Mm-hmm. San Francisco minus 6.5 versus Seattle. I mean, they destroyed Seattle in their first matchup. I feel like they just got healthier. I think, once again, they win by over a touchdown.
Kansas City. Gosh, 1.5 at Buffalo. I'm taking Kansas City.
I mean, it's not a bad pick.
No,
if we could bet here,
Prove me wrong.
If we could bet here, I'd put Kansas City on a parlay every time because I mean they're a guaranteed win. It seems like Cincinnati plus 1.5 at the Chargers. I think. Could the Chargers win this game? Of course, but I don't know. I think Cincinnati and Joe Burrow are playing really good, and I trust them to get the win here.
Yeah, Houston's going to beat Dallas. So.
Yeah, I mean Dallas just has nobody.
Yeah.
So I think that's a safe pick.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, I have a friend named Jaeden, and he may have the worst hot takes of all time. Not only ones listed here, but I will name you some of the ones he has said historically.
You're not going to just do those for the next episode?
Should we?
Yeah, let's not waste those.
Okay, no, we'll leave the historic ones and for the next episode.
This is the first time I've seen these, and these are all actual.
These
takes
are.
That Jaeden
I texted him. I said, "Give me some of your best hot takes," and this is what they were. So his first one was the Cardinals will finish at the top of the NFC West.
Wow,
which
could happen.
I don't know if I wouldn't say it's a hot take. Some people may. I think.
What do you define as a hot take?
I don't know. It's just like something that people don't expect to happen, and you think.
Oh, you want to be the one that is the only one to call that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, they're at the top right now.
Now, did he do this beginning of the season?
No, right. Okay. This week.
Oh, this week. Oh.
So, it's kind of like, is it a hot take? Yes and no, because I bet
But finishing.
Yeah, I bet most people probably say the Niners finish at the top of the division right now. But we'll see how that one shakes out. Definitely not his most egregious.
Yeah.
Second, Steelers will go to the Super Bowl. And in his text, he said, we'll beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship.
Well, I mean...
This one is an insane take.
It could be feasible. I don't know. I mean, they do play in the regular season. We'll see what happens there. They do have that tough strength of schedule, right? I mean, what did we say they were? I think Steelers had the 7th toughest remaining schedule left.
Really?
So, I mean, you're playing Kansas City, you're playing Philly, Baltimore twice, your whole division.
Yeah.
They're facing their whole division, which Burrow twice, Lamar twice, and the Browns haven't been, I mean, they've been better without Deshaun Watson. And then you got Hurts. So look at the quarterbacks. You got Mahomes, you got Hurts, you got Lamar twice, you got Burrow twice.
That's tough.
I mean,
it doesn't get much stronger than that.
I mean, all of those quarterbacks, with maybe the exception of Hurts, are better than Russell Wilson, right? I mean,
there's no doubt they'll be battle tested.
Yeah.
If they make it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know, Jaeden.
I don't know how much I like that take, to be honest. I just think that, I mean, that's a hot take if I've ever seen one. But we'll have a basketball one here. Steph Curry is the greatest point guard of all time. And I know you would like to say something about that.
Well, I mean, fortunately our 10 subscribers know who the Jazz are.
Yep.
And who John Stockton is.
Jersey.
But there's a big disconnect with the kids these days and the way the NBA is morphed, because I still always say that the 80s and 90s was the heyday of the NBA. You had teams back then. Now you have players. You don't have teams anymore. You cheered for a team because you had a superstar that stayed. Now I will say Steph Curry has stayed with Golden State. He's not moved. But it was the era in the 80s and 90s where super teams didn't exist. Superstars wanted to beat each other, Mm-hmm. You had one or two. And sometimes, the people will say the Bulls, they had Pippen and Jordan, they had a lot of players. They drafted them. Okay? That's different to me than guys leaving teams and joining a team.
Yeah.
Anyway, that aside, I don't really view Steph Curry as a point guard.
No, I was going to say that.
A point guard is, I feel like, the general on the floor. Now Steph Curry could be that. He could be that general on the floor, but or the quarterback of the team. He very well could be that. But Steph Curry's not a distributor. He's not a get the play going, and that's what I've always viewed a point guard as. The getting you into your plays, getting you into your sets, getting the ball where it needs to go to start the play, calling the plays, and then just being that floor general. And Steph may be that, but that's Steph's a shooting guard.
Mm-hmm.
Steph's a shooting guard. He's a 3-point shooting threat. Hands down, better 3-point shooter than John Stockton, but doesn't hold Stockton's jockstrap when it comes to point guard play. And durability and toughness. I think there's a lot of players out there, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of different athleticism now because there's a lot of different nutritional things that players get. I think players are bigger, faster, stronger, but I think they were tougher in the 80s and 90s. So, I think Stockton's the player that you could plug in today and he'd still get you, 17 to 20 points a game, 10 to 15 assists a game, and steals. And so we talked earlier in the show about Ovechkin breaking Gretzky's goal record. Now, he won't touch the points record, which that is probably truly the unattainable record in sports. But the other two that not many talk about are the all-time assists and all-time steals that Stockton owns.
Yeah, I know.
Where is he?
Right there.
Right there. So, yeah. Now, I mean, Jaeden, decent take, but not very hot.
No, yeah, I agree. Let's put it this way. Is
Steph Curry is the greatest 3-point shooter of all time.
Is Steph Curry maybe the greatest player?
He's one of the greatest scorers of all time.
Is he the greatest player to play the point guard position? Maybe. Is he the greatest point guard ever? No.
There's a difference.
But like I'm saying, does he play the point guard position? Is that his position? Yes. But is he the definition of a point guard? No. And so therefore he's not the best.
And they always talk Magic Johnson was the best point guard of all time. And it's like, well, the dude was 6'9",
Yeah.
He was huge.
Mm.
Stockton 6'1". I mean, when you got
Which is
8
more
inches,
generalized.
when you got 8-inch height over your opponent, I mean, yeah, you can make passes.
Yeah.
He was a power forward playing playing point guard. So, yeah, I mean, Steph might play point guard, but he's not a point guard.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on, the Vikings are first round exits.
Jaeden, I love this
take. I agree. This is a great take. Honestly, this isn't even hot. This may be cold. This may be a cold take because I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I just don't trust Sam Darnold at all. And I think he could end up ruining their season if it came down to it in a big game. So I definitely think this take is logical.
Who's the guy that threw the Minnesota Miracle?
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum.
Mm-hmm.
Is Sam Darnold better than Case Keenum?
I don't know. No, I'd probably say no.
I think Sam Darnold has way more talent than Case Keenum.
Okay. But I'm saying, like Case Keenum stayed around forever. There was a reason for that.
Well, and Sam Darnold's hung around about the same. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look at how many games Case Keenum plays. But the point is, Darnold got hot. He's cooled down. Can he get hot again?
Yeah.
Maybe. And that's going to come down to coaching. Can they coach him up? Can they get him in those positions to make plays? I mean, you've got Justin Jefferson. You've got Allison. You've got... you've got Aaron Jones. You've got weapons. You got, was it Hawkinson? Hawkinson came back. So you've got all these weapons. The line's been decent. He should be able to play better, and so maybe he's hit that bump. So I don't know. They may not be a first round exit. Depends. I mean, who are you playing in the wild card round? Mm-hmm. You're gonna play. Potentially,
you'll probably play the 4
Commanders or the Eagles, depending or
you'll probably play the NFC South,
or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or the Falcons. So I mean, you could be a first round exit. I don't know if it's a given, but a decent take.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, and the last one actually comes from his father, so it runs in the family. Ashton Genty, of course, Boise State running back. We love Ashton Genty here. Will be the second running back off the board in April next year.
Well, Jaeden, who's the first one off the board?
Yeah, exactly. This was never specified to me. So we were just saying he's the second off the board, but why?
Well,
who's first?
I'd like a follow-up on this. I
can't leave a comment.
I can't rule on this take, but Jaeden, maybe you can be the first to comment on our show. Who is the first one off the board?
Yeah, if he's second, I mean, who's first? I got to know this guy. Who's better? Who's this better running back who's going to go second?
How many running backs are in the Heisman hunt right now?
None.
Just him.
Just him.
Just Genty.
Just him. So I mean, he's got to be. I mean, I don't know where this take came.
This kind of comes like a dumb take.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, it's bordering it. I don't know. We don't want to be disrespectful, but it's bordering it. But that's it for this week's Jaden's Hot Takes. We'll be back next week with some hopefully even more egregious takes and a history of Jaden's egregious takes. Moving on, though, this Friday, normally we probably wouldn't talk about any fights, but this one feels extra special, and it's probably the only fight I will ever pay attention to. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. I don't know what to expect. Because I don't watch fighting. I don't really know what's going to happen. But, I mean, it's just like, it's one of those things that's like, is this just all for publicity? Because there's, like, in my opinion, I feel like there's no way that Mike Tyson wins this fight at 58 years old.
Do they have a beef that they're trying to settle?
I don't know.
I don't know how this came about. I just heard about it and thought, okay. I've seen a few Tyson fights in my time. I saw him try to come back and fight Lennox Lewis, and that had to have been 20 years ago. And that didn't go well. His comebacks have never gone well. He was a very dominant fighter in his time. But I feel like stamina is going to be a thing
Yeah.
unless Tyson can knock him out in the first round.
Yeah, there's just an obvious stamina difference.
I just don't know that he's going to have. I don't even know how many rounds this is.
I don't know either.
So I don't know. I would say, Tyson's got experience on his side. If it were a street fight, Tyson probably wins. Maybe. I mean, that would probably be better for Tyson. But in a boxing match, with the endurance, and I mean, I saw pictures of Tyson for 58 years old. My goodness, I'll never look that.
Yeah.
I'm not even close to that in my 40s.
He's in shape, no doubt. But
he's in shape. But there's a lot of players in late 30s in the NFL that are in shape but are slow.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, wear and tear. I don't know how much wear and tear Tyson's had over the years. I don't know when his last fight was. Had to have been.
I don't know either.
I mean,
a while.
Had to have been 20. That one I watched might have been his last time he fought.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. They'll make money.
That's for sure.
Thing.
That's kind of what it feels like. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm definitely going to tune in and watch it to see what happens. But it's this Friday, November 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tune in, see what happens. If Mike Tyson wins, the internet might explode. And that would honestly be the perfect way to just end your boxing career because
I thought it was over.
I know, but I mean, like, if you come back and beat Jake Paul, 27-year-old versus 58-year-old, I mean, that's pretty impressive. So,
yeah. Cheering
for Tyson. Don't think he's going to win, but we'll see what happens. Another new segment to the show on this day in sports. We just thought this would be kind of fun to add just to see what was happening on this day in the history of sports. So in 1933, the first NFL football game was played on a Sunday because apparently it was like illegal to play football on Sundays. So that's a pretty historic day because now Sunday is just like famous for football. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. In 2012, Joe Sakic was inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Your favorite hockey player of all time.
Yep. Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Stanley Cup winner.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for me, the Houston Astros were caught cheating on this day in 2019.
Whistleblower.
Yep. So, it's an alleged hoax, I believe. That's what they're saying. It's a hoax. So, it never actually happened, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we got framed, really. So, still got 2 rings, so I'm just going to leave that there. But yeah, let us know what you think about this segment. We want to keep doing it, see what's happening on different days in sports. And yeah. Well, thanks for watching episode 4 of BST. We hope you have a good day and stay safe out there.
And be sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, of course. That's the most important part. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one. See you guys later.